Emma, what are you doing?
I'm reading.
Emma,
What?
what's that?
It's just a cup.
Emma,
Yes.
that's a cup without a coaster. Why?
I can't find one that I liked.
What do you mean you couldn't find one that you liked?
But I just can't find one.
So what are you going to do to solve this? Because I can't just stay there like that.
I don't know.
How about you make a coaster?
With what?
How about a silicone mold?
Out of what?
How about some resin?
How?
How about we figure it out?
Okay.
Keiko Papi. All right, so we're making a resin mold. Or no, we're not making a resin mold. We're making a resin coaster.
Yes.
But not just any resin coaster.
A Greek god themed
It's pretty cool.
coaster.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. What's our first step here?
By making sure we do not waste any resin.
Because it is expensive. So what do we need to do in order to make sure we don't waste any resin?
Measure the mold.
Measure the mold. All right, so this is what shape?
A hexagon.
Hexagon. All right, so hexagons have 8 sides, right?
6.
6 sides. Good. All right, so what we have to do in order to get the interior volume, the volume of a regular hexagonal prism, which is what this is, we have to measure the sides of, we have to measure a side of the hexagon. And this mold actually has an interior hexagon that's raised in order to create a lip on the inside. Do you see that there? See how it has this interior lip? Mm-hmm. So we're gonna
Which is pretty cool.
Right, yeah, I mean, for when it's actually a coaster, it's gonna be nice. So we have to measure both a side on the large hexagon and then a side on the interior hexagon, because we're gonna have to subtract the difference, or subtract the interior one to get the actual volume. Ready?
Ready.
All right, let's do it. So here, you go ahead and, how about we do this in millimeters?
Okay.
All right, so it looks like it's about 60 millimeters for the large side, the large hexagon. And how about the interior one? Flatten this out a little bit. Yeah, and that looks like it's about 50 millimeters. All right, so we got a exterior length, side length of 60, interior side length of 50, and then
The depth.
the depth of the large hexagon is
About 13 millimeters.
Yep, it's about 13 millimeters, and
The small one
is
about 0.5.
I'm thinking that's maybe 6 millimeters.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 millimeters. All right, so how about we go with that? Now what we'll do is we'll just figure it out on paper.
Okay.
All right, let's do it. So we've calculated out that the volume should be
82 milliliters.
Yeah, about 82 milliliters. So let's find out by pouring water into the mold
Okay.
if we're actually somewhat correct. Now, how much are we starting with here?
100 milliliters.
100 milliliters. All right, so let's pour it in. Go ahead and pour it in, and let's see what happens. And down low here. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Boy, that's That's just bubbled up over the edge, but the surface tension of the water is holding it. So how much did we use? How much is left?
About 10.
About 10 milliliters out of 100. So we used 90 milliliters, and that is actually over the edge. I mean, it is surface tension that is holding that in place and not spilling out. So if we assume that we were going to use about 80 milliliters, we're going to be really close to spot on, I would think.
Yeah.
So our next step, I think, is actually to pour the resin. And to do that, we're going to go downstairs because we're going to use the workshop, and the ventilation is better down there than it is up here.
Yeah. But the tricky part is the water.
Yes, emptying that out without spilling it and making a big mess. All right, you have fun with that.
Hey!
Okay, all right, so this is our very first resin pour, and to be honest, we're really not entirely sure of how this is going to go. We have a pretty good idea of what we're supposed to be doing. We've watched plenty of videos on how to do this, and we think we've got it. Our plan here is to get about 15 milliliters of epoxy and then an additional 15 milliliters of hardener in each of these silicone cups, add in some pigment, and then mix it all up, make sure it's thoroughly mixed, and then pour it into
The mold.
Yeah, pour it into the mold. Maybe we're going to add in some alcohol ink, some white alcohol ink. The goal is to create
Waves.
Yeah, and then eventually we're going to carve out the
Symbol.
symbol from there. That's our goal. We'll see what happens. We're probably going to go into montage mode and then do a voiceover as we're going through it. All right, so we've finished pouring the first coaster, and then we realized that we had quite a bit of extra, and so we decided to pour a second one. So we quickly mixed up the rest and then poured a second. So now what do we do?
We just wait.
Wait probably about 24 hours before it fully cures. So we'll see you soon. Well, it's been 24 hours.
Are you ready to see what they look like?
I am. I know at least from the outside they look really nice.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with the way that they came out. We can see on this side
that we burnt some of the resin to make it uneven.
Yeah, the blowtorch got a little bit too close, and it did ignite a little bit. But we should be able to sand that down pretty easily. Should be all right.
So I will go first. Reveal this.
Okay, go for it.
It's coming out really nice without the mold release.
Yeah, that one didn't have the mold release. This one did, but that just came right out very easily.
Yeah, and it looks awesome. bit harsh line right there, but I didn't layer it properly.
Okay.
So I think we should try again, and next time we do this, we slowly pour it and layer it.
Okay, so the next time. Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. Yeah, I like that. That's very nice. I can see some small bubbles. It looks like
that formed.
Yeah, right on the surface here. Not bad. I mean, overall for our very first pour, it looks really nice.
Yeah. So do you want to do the circle?
Yeah, sure. All right. So this one had the mold release. Yes, the mold release. So let's see how it looks like. Okay, nice and easy. It's just peeling right off. Nice and easy. That's it. Wow.
It's more gradual.
Yeah, there's
with the colors, the resin.
It's a really nice gradation from the light to the dark. It looks really nice.
Yeah.
I'm very, very happy with it.
Yeah.
So what's our next step?
Carving.
All right, so we're gonna carve. So you've already designed everything in Illustrator, and now we're gonna just take it down to the Xcarve and carve it out. Well, I guess that's it then. So let's go do it. Sanding, polishing, and finishing of the resin coasters is complete. I would say that we are finished with this project at this point.
Yeah.
It definitely took us a while to do. So what do you think? What do you think about the results?
I like the extra one better than the main one.
Right, we started by intentionally doing this one. That one was kind of an afterthought, and as it turned out, with all of the various testing that we did using different finishes, we sanded and polished. We tried a polyurethane finish. We tried a super glue, cyanoacrylate glue finish. We tried a spray enamel finish. We tried all sorts of different things to get it to polish up nicely. And ultimately, I think I agree. The test piece came out actually nicer than the one that we intended to make. But that being said, they're both nice.
The reason why I don't like this one as much is because it's off-centered.
Yeah, when we did the CNC cutting of it, we were just a little bit off, and consequently, the centering of the Poseidon and the Trident was just off-center. That's all. And we learned a lot in the process. I mean, we learned a lot about the finishing aspects of it. We learned a lot about the pouring. And again, this was our very first resin pour. And so, I mean, we definitely didn't go easy in the fact that, we tried to do the CNC, we tried to do the glow in the dark, and the glow in the dark works really nicely. On both pieces. It came out very, very nice. Exactly what we were looking for. Something that we're definitely going to have to work on in the future is all of the bubbles that we can see. In the initial resin pour, it was clear, and the bubbles internally were all clear, and so you really couldn't see the bubbles at all. But then as soon as we started to sand them down, those bubbles became opaque, and so we now can see them, and so it just doesn't look quite as nice as we would have liked. That being said, this is Poseidon's coasters, and so bubbles actually kind of works with this. So, we'll take it. We'll take it as a win. But ultimately, they look good. They came out nicely, and we're pleased with the results. And so we'll just have more learning to do in the future. Well, that's a wrap for us here at Until Robots Replace Us. We are finished with this project. We really like it, and we hope that you did as well. Thanks for sticking with us, watching this video. Please feel free to like and subscribe down below to stay updated with more content. We're definitely gonna have a lot more resin projects coming in the future now that we have an idea of what we're doing. And so stay tuned for whatever's coming next. Thanks.